Morning, everyone. It is nice to see you here on time for our Sunday morning service at Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation. If my tech support could pull up the announcements, I can read them and share them with the congregation. Today, Knucklehead 5 is out. You can read all the Knucklehead issues on NUUC.ca. The last Sunday of this month and every month, Fred, Phyllis, and I host morning chant and singing meditation. Morning chant happens between 9:30 and 10:15 a.m. in a breakout room off of our main service space. And the Sunday evening singing med happens between 7 and 8:30 p.m. at the music Zoom space. You can write to me at music@nuuc.ca for more info. This Monday and every Monday, the Spirit Choir meets and rehearses from 7 to 8:30 p.m. If you're interested in joining the choir, contact me, please. On Wednesdays, we have two regularly occurring meetings. In the morning, Journey to Awakening Conscious Movement class happens between 10:15 and 11:30 a.m. That's led by Phyllis. You'll need to contact her to sign up and for more information. And in the evenings on Wednesday, Reverend Wayne and Jillian host a meditation on Zoom from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Wednesdays and Thursdays, our C Committee supports Sandwich Sisters. We hope you'll consider making sandwiches and dropping them off to be given to hungry people in our neighborhood. And every Sunday morning, Zach Getchell hosts our child caregiver program from 9 to 9:30 here in our Sunday Zoom space. Ongoing, the Spirit Choir is working towards a new video on Primavera, on the springtime. We'd love to make this a community project. If you're willing to share photos of your art that celebrate the spring, please send up to 5 pics to me for inclusion and consideration for the video. This Thursday, I believe that's Tuesday, March 16th, C Committee, that's the Social and Environmental Action Committee, is having a planning meeting for the Defunding the Police speaker series. The meeting on Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. and that's here in our regular Zoom space. This Thursday evening at 8 p.m., Knuckleheads getting together to share reactions to the past 2 issues. Join your community at this regular Zoom space. And on Sunday, March 28th, the Neighborhood Dance Party Collective is holding a dance 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. in our regular Zoom space. All are welcome. Circles of Trust are meeting again. If you wish to sit quietly with a group of our community elders to practice getting in touch with your deeper thoughts, please contact our minister. There are openings for March, April, and May. If you wish to know more, just Google Circles of Trust, an old Quaker practice, or speak to Rev Wayne. There is a general meeting today after service. Hope you'll stay and vote for our new board members. All are welcome, only members can vote. Last week we sent a separate message and materials related to our chair donation campaign, our charity. You'll find all the info to allow you to select the wording of a dedication that you want to place on the back of a chair. Remember that your chair donation will be matched, so when you buy 1 chair, you will get 2. Be part of the CUC National Choir Project. Virtually pass the flame from one side of the country to another. Can you make a short video passing the flame? Please contact me for more information. There's a couple of specific things you need to do in the video, so if you're interested in helping out and being part of the project, write to me and I'll send you all the info you need. And next Sunday, our theme is Calling It Out, Fear of Conflict and Confrontation. Our message of inspiration will be provided by our minister, Reverend Wayne Walder, and guest musician Sam Sundar Singh will be with us singing and playing guitar.
Thank you, Suzanne. and welcome everyone to our neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation service on Zoom. We welcome you here as we stay emotionally and spiritually close in times when we need to stay physically apart. My name is Allison Kabayama, and I will be your virtual service leader this morning from home. Our musical director, Susanne Mazars, is in our new space at 310 Danforth, and our minister, the Reverend Wayne Walder, is in his home. Zach Getchell facilitates our Sunday child and caregiver program, and he will share the time for all ages from home. We also have Charles Wotton and Ruth Langtree, who are doing the Zoom web hosting and cut and paste duties respectively. Thank you to all of them. Just a few Zoom etiquette reminders. Remember to stay muted and keep chat open for readings and lyrics, and refrain from sending chat messages addressed to everyone during the service. This service is being recorded for the public, both on YouTube and on our new website. Joys and concerns or similar personal moments will be edited out. If you have privacy concerns, you can turn off your camera so you're not seen, and rename yourself. Sacred space and cyberspace are strange bedfellows, and we need your help to bring them together. Now, let us refocus and be fully present. We have nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. You can shut off your other apps that might distract, or put your device on Do Not Disturb. This is the time we have chosen to gather. This is our threshold moment. Let's enter sacred space together. Let our service begin now. As we light our chalice, I encourage you to light your own personal chalice or candle, or consider holding your hands in the shape of a chalice. I ask Susanne to light our chalice as we sing our chalice lighting song.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own heart.
And now for our prelude. This is a collaboration recording that Susanne and I put together with the blessing of the author, the writer, creator of the song Wind of Change, who is Reverend Lynn Harrison. And we recorded with her blessing. It is one of my very favorite songs of Lynn's, and we're so happy to share it with you today. And we hope that a healing wind will blow through all of our congregation.
See it turning by the lake shore, pretty pinwheel in the sky, turning up all that we hope for, light and power we can't deny, wind of change, rise up, wind of change. See them dancing on the clothesline, pretty pinstripes bright and blue, as the wind chimes sings a love song, and my heart says back to you, wind of change. as it lifts our fallen spirits, as it cools our tender skin. It is near and far beyond us. It's outside and deep within. Wind of change, rise up, wind of change. Wind of change, rise up, wind of change. We are watching for tornadoes as we scan uncertain skies. But a deeper part of me knows that a healing wind will arise. There is somewhere we are headed now. There is much to rearrange. Wind of change, rise up, wind of change. Wind of change, rise up, wind of change. Wind of change, rise up, wind of change. Wind of change, rise up, wind of change.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that, Charles. The wind is blowing, and today I honor the universal truth that we are all special and worthy beings and part of the great circle of life. I'm grateful to and revere the indigenous peoples of this country who are the original keepers of the land. Almost all of us are in our own homes in isolation, and let us remember that these homes are on the traditional lands and territories of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa nations. These lands have supported and sustained us as we live, work, play, heal, dream, rest, and love. May we always give thanks for our good life and the spiritual blessings with which we are gifted. May we ever recognize the enduring presence and resilience of Indigenous peoples and be reminded of opportunities to reconcile, to understand wrongs, and to do better in relationship personally, democratically, and together protect the land. If you are visiting us for the first time, a special welcome to you. Normally, we have breakout rooms and the opportunity to talk with our minister or other staff, but today we have a general meeting and registration directly following service, so we won't have breakout rooms today. A little bit about Neighborhood. Our mission is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. And our theme for March is Breaking Free. Our theme for today is openness, truth, conflict process, and religious beliefs. Is my truth true? When I was thinking about today's message, I thought about our Unitarian Universalist principles. In particular, our fourth principle, that we affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and our first principle of the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I see that our faith is a living faith, both individually and collectively. What I see and understand today may be vastly different from what I saw and understood 10 years ago, and so I can expect that my vision and understanding will continue to grow and shift. But we need to be guided by all of our principles, and when all can be respected, I think we can have confidence in our present perspectives. I look back and respect and admire. My admiration only grows for my Unitarian Universalist parents, Joan and Michiomi. They were lifelong social justice advocates for the minority, the disadvantaged, and downtrodden, and their beliefs remain instructive to me and others, despite the passage of many decades. And they were not afraid to learn and expand their knowledge of themselves and others. Whenever I demonstrated the limitations of my growing opinions, they never became angry or defensive. They patiently modeled their open-mindedness, compassion, generosity, non-judgmental stance, and our universalist embrace of all. So I know that we too can listen to those who feel oppressed, gain new information, seek healing, and possibly change our minds and grow policy. In the words of Carol P. Haskins, a society committed to the search for truth must give protection to and set a high value upon the independent and original mind, however angular, however rasping, however socially unpleasant it may be, for it is upon such minds in large measure that the effective search for truth demands. Traditionally, at this time, we have asked you to turn to your neighbor and greet them. Now, briefly unmute your device and switch to gallery view and offer a greeting to those around you. We will sound a chime to end. Now, take a moment to greet the neighbors around you.
Hi, everyone.
Come
Hello.
back to the light, everybody.
Julianne.
See you. Hi,
Kurt.
Chris.
Dolly. Hi, Ned.
Rose. Hi,
Margot.
Rose. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Tina.
Susanne.
Hi,
Hi, Don.
and Michelle.
Moira. Hello, Ren. Hi, Bruce and Natalie. Lovely to see you, Hanel.
Good to see you. Lenore. Hello, Wayne.
Hi, Jessica.
Alice and Margaret.
Hi, Veronica.
Lovely to see you, Thomases. Hi, Thomases.
Hi, Susan Crawford. Brianna.
Hey, Doug.
And
Hi, Beata.
Laura.
Hi, Barb.
Bruce, Natalie.
Oh, there's Bailey. Bailey.
Hey, Doug.
Karen.
Hi, Laura, Sean.
Oh, there's Gwen.
Hi, John Whitehead.
Hi, Moira.
Nice to see you, Sigmund.
Nancy.
Hi, Gwen. Lovely to see you. Hi, Phyllis. Dressed up. What are you cold in the house?
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Charlie.
Andrew.
Hi, Luann.
Veronica. Hi.
Moira. Hi, Ren. Yana.
Wow. So vibrant. I love that part. Because we are all out there and we're still reaching for each other. I invite everyone to join me in reading our opening words, which will have appeared in chat and on your screen. If you're on a phone and don't know the words, just listen to me reading. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. Now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, please join Susanne for our opening song. Susanne?
Morning, everyone. I'm here in the shared office, still with the plain white wall behind me at 310 Danforth. And our opening hymn today is number 318, We Would Be One. We Would Be One uses a tune written by Jean Sibelius of Finlandia that's been set with many different texts since its conception in 1900. And we're going to be singing lyrics written by Unitarian minister Samuel Anthony Wright. These lyrics were written for the UU Youth at their Continental Convention in 1953. At this conference, the youth merged of the Unitarians and the Universalists merged to form the Liberal Religious Youth of the United States and Canada, setting a model for how Unitarian Universalists can be consolidated. And the youth lead us in many ways still. So please join me in singing We Would Be One. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service with love and justice, strive to make us free. May it be so.
Beautiful song. Now, all the young and young at heart, we have a special time with Zach. So please come up and get close to the screen.
Good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is my truth true? Which to me brings up the question of ultimate truth and relative truth. Is there one truth that is true, or is truth a variable thing that has many angles and sides? It's something that we have, as people, have been talking about for a long time. The idea of relative truth is an old one. There's a great line from Star Trek that I always remember stuck in my head that was said by Captain Jean-Luc Picard. The first duty of every Starfleet officer is to the truth. whether it's scientific truth or personal truth or historical truth. I think that of those three options, personal truth is the most relative and one reason why people disagree on so many things. I was introduced to this idea for the first time when I was a kid through the story that I'm about to tell you. It's a story that many of you probably think you know, the story of the three little pigs, except it's not really. It's actually the story of the big bad wolf. You see, one thing about that story that no one knows is that the big bad wolf was not actually that bad at all. She also had a pretty bad cold that day. She was hoping to make herself some of her favorite treats that always helped her to feel better when she was feeling sick: candied bacon. Now, I know what you're thinking, and that's not it either. She didn't want the pigs for the bacon. She had plenty of bacon in the fridge. What she didn't have was any sugar. And of course, you need sugar to properly candy bacon. Now, this story takes place a long time ago, long before COVID, when you could still go out when you were sick. It was also a long time before you could just order groceries to come to your house. So the sick wolf grabbed a bowl and headed out to see if her new neighbors would be able to spare a bowl of sugar. She got to the nearest house, a small house made out of straw, and when she approached to knock on the door, she heard the startled snuffle of a pig. She knocked on the door and said, "Hello, I'm your new neighbor. Would you have a bowl of sugar to spare so that I might make myself feel better?" The little pig inside peeked out through a loophole in the door and saw a big bad wolf outside. He got very scared and said, "Oh, no, you don't. You're not getting in here to gobble me up, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." The wolf outside replied, "I don't want to gobble you. I just want some sugar. If I don't get any, I won't be able to make my special treat. And then and the wolf sneezed with the strength of a small tornado and blew the straw house to pieces. The startled piggy squealed with fear and ran away to the next house, his big brother's house, made of nice big sticks. The wolf was sad and didn't know what to do. There was no other way she could think of to get some sugar. She'd have to try again. So she walked right up to the door of the stick house and knocked on it. "Excuse me, little pigs. I don't want any trouble. I'm just hoping you could give me a bowl of sugar so that I could make my special treat and cheer myself up. I'm feeling rather sick today, you see, and I've always felt better once I've had some candied bacon." At this point, there was a loud yelp from inside. "Candied bacon? Oh, no, you don't, you mean old wolf. You're not getting in here and making us into bacon, not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." At this point, the wolf started to howl with sadness. "Oh, please, little pigs. I don't know how else to make myself feel better. Please, I need a bowl of sugar to make my special treat, or else I'll just feel... and I'll... And the wolf sneezed with the strength of a small tornado, and the house made of sticks was blown to pieces. The little pigs inside squealed with fear and ran as fast as they could to the next and last house in line, their big sister's house made of bricks. When the wolf, who still desperately wanted to get that sugar, got to the door and knocked, she was very upset. "Please, little pigs, please. I promise I'll just leave my bowl here by the door and then I'll back up and you can fill it with sugar and just put it back outside the door. Please, I just want to make my special treat." And from inside, she heard the voice of the third little piggy. "Well, I'm sorry, but this door is not opening while you are anywhere nearby. You done scared my little brothers half to death. Go on now, wolf. You're not getting in here, not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." Well, that was enough for the wolf. She started to howl and cry and get very upset. And she started to cough and sneeze with the strength of a medium tornado. Luckily, the brick house was set into the ground properly and stayed standing strong. After she had calmed herself down a little bit, The wolf threw her bowl down in frustration and stomped off back to her house, resolved to be sick and unhappy until she got better. It wasn't until hours later, when she went out to take a walk in the woods and watch the sunset, that she noticed her bowl filled with sugar, just sitting outside her door. At least, that's how I learned the story. But I'll follow our fourth principle and let you decide which story do you think is more true, the pig's story or the wolf's? Or do you think that both versions could be true, or at least partly true? I hope you think about it, and if you do, I hope you reach out to me and tell me what you've chosen. For now, that's all the time I have for today, so thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Zach. I will think about that story. And now we have come to a very special time in our service, a time we know as Joys and Concerns. It's a time in our community when you can raise a hand and share a significant joy or concern in your life. I would like to light a virtual candle for all of the volunteers and all of the volunteer efforts, both seen and unseen, that go on to keep our community healthy and vibrant. And I'd like to light a final candle for all of the joys and concerns that remain unspoken and are in our hearts. Now today, in place of our usual meditation, we have a special healing ritual time, and I'd like to ask our minister to lead us in our healing ritual today.
Good morning, everyone. It sounds like there's a echo, but I think the echo has stopped now, which is good. We've done this ritual before in our congregation. It's very simple. We'll use words to remind ourselves that there is more than reason in a human life, and we'll use hope. A healing ritual can't cure anyone, yet I believe we can all be healed. In a minute, you'll hear this song, and we'll begin. A ritual is an event within a community where we hold each other in our figurative arms, even when we can't be in the same room. We calm our minds, maybe close our eyes, and allow the chant and the sound to hold us. We give up a little bit of control. It's like a long meditation with music. And like every ritual, it's participatory. After I finish setting us up, you'll hear Susanne singing, and we hope that you send in the chat the name of someone that you wish to be healed. It could be yourself or the planet. If you can type in the Zoom chat, I'll speak that name for everyone to hear. If you do not, simply rest quietly and enjoy the sound and a community coming together to try to hold each other in their best light. Elizabeth, may she be healed. The relationship between Kathy, my mom, and I, neighborhood members and myself, Rita Stern, my sister and brother-in-law, Alice and Kelly, my dear brother Alex, our board and our minister and our community, my grandpa Gordon Jones, Jessica, Wayne and the board, Charlene and Patrick, Jessica, myself, Craig Rock, Ibby, Satar and Karachi, Kay, Dawn and Dave, and the family burden that they have, Amelia, for Daniel to become all that is possible, Joanne, Suzanne, Zach, and Wayne, my friend Valerie, Tim and Jane, and Kate, Paul, our daughter-in-law, Anna, my brother, Aaron, Gordon Jones, and Alex, my brother Jamie, Gurinder in India, Wayne and Joan, Cassidy's recovery, Jamie and George to find stable homes, hope to solve the strained relationship between myself and my daughter Madeline, Jessica, my 94-year-old grandmother Diana, who gets her first COVID shot next week. We need the planet to be healed. And someone's daughter, Sophie, the relationship with her. Diana, my friend. Holly, my relationship with my older sister, Jessica, and thank you for all the work you do. We appreciate your value. My newly widowed nephew, Jamie, my sister, Margaret, let me end this ritual with a blessing. And during the short blessing, can I respectfully ask you to put one hand on your heart and reach the other hand out. It's an old act to remember that every blessing must go inwardly and outwardly, sending our healing inwardly and outwardly. And there's 3 more that have come in. My newly widowed nephew, Jamie, my sister, Margaret, and Margaret and Andrea. So put a hand in your heart, if you will, and a hand out, and feel that we are together. Let healing come to you now. Let the winter buds, the naked branches remind you new life is making ready to bloom again. And let the snow touch you, the wisps of it this morning, and make you smile. Healing as you wake, healing as you close your eyes to sleep, healing inside you and from outside you. We're not always cured, but we can be healed. Let healing come to us now, and bless you all. Thank you. It always takes me a while to change gears after that. Thank you so much for being able to do that as a community. It's so much better in person, but it's wonderful to do it even now. Thank you. Long ago in Jerusalem, a governor was struggling with a trial that was threatening his kingdom. It seemed a prophet was stirring up the population, and it was getting serious enough that they had to bring the rabble-rouser to order. His crime was sedition and the wish to overthrow the established community. It was summer and the people were bored, hot, and tired. The governor could feel that along with the dust, there was danger in the air, and he had to act whether he wanted to or whether he didn't. This famous picture of the trial captures the look of that ancient time. The governor asked the accused, "What is truth?" And he asked it again in derision, "What is truth?" And maybe he even asked it a third time out of frustration because he was questioning truth himself. The accused stood silent and had no answer. It was Pontius Pilate, of course, condemning Jesus. I wonder if Pilate asked that question at first to condemn Jesus. "If you're so smart, King of the Jews, tell us all the truth and we'll release you. If you're so good and you know so much, what's your solution to all of our problems?" Then Pontius Pilate might have asked Jesus the impossible question to make his job easier by discrediting Jesus in front of his friends and enemies. I don't know about you, but I have had the same thought myself sometimes about someone. What makes you so smart? How do you know? Maybe each one of us have said these things, sometimes under our breath, when someone tells us the truth. At that trial, I bet Pontius Pilate asked the question again, "What is truth?" He probably asked it that second time because what makes you so smart is double-edged. If we are honest, we have to ask it of ourselves too. What makes me so smart? What do I know? The governor might have been expressing his frustration at not knowing what to do, not knowing what was needed, while still having to appear strong and in control. How many times have that happened to us? Without an answer to the question of what is truth, Pontius Pilate washes his hands of the whole affair and condemns Jesus to death by crucifixion. It has to be one of the more revealing and inadequate and confusing trials in all of history, and summarily quick. Pontius Pilate's question is still a good one. What is truth? Do you have the truth? Do I? If your truth is different than mine, is it more true? These days, it's as difficult to answer that question as it was 2,000 years ago. In fact, it may be getting more difficult. In 2016, the Oxford Dictionary added a new word for the year. It was called post-truth. And it means facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. You know, the people at Oxford understood that we are in a time when we can feel our personal beliefs are as important as objective facts. Post-truth is an important topic these days because over the last 20 years or so, we have seen an assault on truth. Climate deniers get major media attention, even though the evidence for climate change is unassailable. Others discount evolution, contrary to decades of research and limitless archaeological evidence. There are those who reject vaccines, even though 99% of epidemiologists agree with their effectiveness. Politicians of different parties tell different truths using spin doctors to craft messages that fact checkers often claim to be lies. At first blush, it would seem we're in a post-truth world because if we look at our own truth or cherry pick facts to support what we believe, we can forget a larger truth. And a larger truth matters. It's simply more at risk And when it's at risk, we lose danger of thinking that there is a larger truth. Philosopher Lee McIntyre defends post-truth. He defines post-truth as the political subordination of reality. The political subordination of reality. Truth is only useful if it supports your cause or your ambition, whether conservative or liberal. He worries that truth will be only decided by public opinion and political opinion, which is easily influenced by selective evidence and the loudest voice. Truth is complicated. Even in science, truth is not always easy to discern. Gravity works, even though it's hard to know why or how. Truth changes even if we don't want it to. I bet that each one of us has had times when everything we hold dear and true changed in a moment. Truth often exceeds our understanding. Death, for example, is our final destiny, yet it might be impossible to understand while we're alive. And when two people disagree about their truths, one person believing everyone should have a vegan diet to heal themselves and the planet, and another feeling that a carnivore diet is a basic human need, how do these truths coexist? Let's try some experiments. When we look at a sunset and feel the truth of the day quietly slipping into night, most of us can resonate with this kind of peaceful truth. Yet if another person looks at the same sunset and feels they have not accomplished what they set out to finish that same day and are depressed to see the ending of the day, their truth about the ending of the day is very different than that of beauty. Sometimes the same observation, a sunset, can have two different responses, beautiful and peaceful or sad and depressing. Often we perceive perception as truth. And in our better moments, perhaps we can see this problem, that perception's not always truth. And with a little awareness, we can understand how perception is different. Let's do it again. Make it a little harder. What if one person sees Jesus as the truth and his writings the way to live a life? And if another person sees Muhammad as truth and his writings as the way to live a life? And what if these ways to live a life differ wildly? What if the truths we resonate with disagree? Let's make it even a little harder. What if one person living in Toronto, in the beautiful green of a summer, doesn't witness climate change and resonates with the idea that a little warmer planet might be good for them in the long run? And what if another person doing experiments in Antarctica watched the ice shelf as large as Toronto break from a 1,000,000-year-old glacier as a warning for the entire planet? Caring for the planet as it changes or ignoring the planet as it changes can make us act in very different ways. Post-truth occurs when we believe our single story or our perception is the whole truth and not a strand of the truth that we might have unwoven from the bigger picture. And there's always a bigger picture. And if we can resonate with the largest truth we can understand, it helps us make sense of our differences and our different perceptions. We know the sunset is grounding for each of us, no matter how we feel about the evening colors. We know that spirituality and religion are ways for humans to find meaning throughout time and culture. There are more than 4,000 religions on this planet. We know that we have to live our daily lives. And yet, if we don't take part in the planetary awareness about climate, about health, our personal quality of life can and is greatly affected. Truth, the bigger picture, with all of the strands of our perceptions and understandings and belief, is complicated. There's my truth and your truth, big truths and little truths. And to see a truth big enough for us all, we have to do something that's so hard, we may not be properly wired yet to do it. And that is, we have to hold two contrary things in our mind at the same time. We have to learn how to hold one truth, the one we resonate with, at the same time that we hold what we could all resonate with. We have to eat and buy what we like and what makes us well. And at the same time, we can buy local products and consume less so we care for the planet. Without denying our personal truths or hiding our own guilt, we can also take part in larger truths. For example, we can always take care of ourselves, and with a slight adjustment of our perceptions, we can extend a kindness to everyone, not just the people who look and act like us. We cannot give up on truth because our evolution toward a sustainable future on the planet requires us to treasure truth. And to treasure truth, we have to learn how to hold the largest truth we can, even if we can't do it every day. The biggest truth holds us all. One perspective never gives a full picture of life's fairness, its beauty, its wholeness, or even our survival. You know, truth is more like a garden, an organic, holistic system of beliefs, an ecosystem of truth. This is Monet's garden that he painted, where everything relates to everything else. Sometimes big truths and little ones, they die and change like the seasons. Like any garden, our truth needs to be pruned regularly from destructive myths and habits and misunderstandings. When new facts come in, new ideas, we prune the trees and slide over the lilies. That way, if big and little truths are considered holistically, holding divergent truths at the same time becomes possible. It can change what we think and how we act. You know, when Pontius Pilate asked Jesus, "What is truth?" I imagine Jesus did not answer because there is no answer. Truth is not an answer, it's a series of perceptions about our lives that intersect as we try to see the most personal and the largest and the biggest understanding we can see. It's practicing how to hold those truths together so the differences fall away and we can see both our needs and the needs of life at the same time. Take a look at this illustration. What do you see? Do you see a duck? Do you see a rabbit? Go back and forth. The rabbit with the ears on the right, and then little nose in the front with the eye in the middle. And then the duck with the mouth on the right, slightly opened. The rabbit, the duck. At some point, you can almost see them at the same time. This is what I mean. Do you see what happens with our mind as we do that? This is what I mean by holding divergent truths at the same time. It needs to stretch the awareness we have. We even do this when we're together. Each Sunday we read our opening words together. We promise we'll cast the circle of a cherished space, a place of forgiveness. I don't know about you, But by about Tuesday afternoon, I often forget, and forgiveness might not come very easily. Together we say we want the world to change, but this is hard to do, living our own lives and following our own truths cooped up in our houses. So this week I was trying to remind myself. I typed the words of our invocation in large print and posted them in our kitchen as a reminder to live not only my truth, but our truths. By practicing, we can hold our truth and all the truths we need to share, all the truths we need to learn. And I think this is where we need to go, not only as people ourselves, and not only even as the community of neighborhood, and not only as the community of Unitarian Universalists, but really as a human community. We need to be able to pull our awareness open with kindness and clarity and respect. Jesus didn't answer Pilate because there's no answer to the question, what is truth? Jesus had told his friends only days before that if they knew the truth themselves, it would set them free. And hopefully, that is what truth can do for us. When we stretch our mind and hold each, it will make us free. Satori, enlightenment. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Wayne. May it be so. In these times of isolation, let us not forget that our congregation is a living entity, and like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. So if you contribute by pre-authorized withdrawals, we thank you. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. We can't pass the basket, but for those that do make contributions to the baskets, usually, please consider writing a check or making an e-transfer, which is the most cost-effective way to give. Consider even doing a recurring gift. A link is in your chat window for you now, and all you need to do is click on it and it will take you to our donation page. We will now pause, and Susanne will play some beautiful music.
Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
Our world is one world. Thank you, Susanne. And I will invite Susanne to also extinguish our chalice as we sing our chalice extinguishing song.
Oh, not yet, Allison.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've got one more hymn to
Oh,
share
yes,
with the
one more
congregation.
song.
So every week the choir meets online to heal and bless each other by singing together, and then to share that video at each service to heal and bless our entire congregation. We're going to repeat the song that we sang at the beginning of the service, so you have another chance to really internalize the words of this hymn and think about what it means. It's been said that singing is praying twice, and I'd like to suggest that praying is singing twice. Please join the choir in singing "We Would Be One." we would be one, as now we join in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Lovely. Thank you. And now, I do invite Susanne to extinguish our chalice.
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
We have a tradition, or it hasn't happened in a while now, but instead of circling round and holding each other's hands, instead go to gallery view and we can unmute ourselves together to say namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you. Namaste.
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 Today I will leave you with a blessing from myself. May the light of the sun, the life-giving sun, and the beams of the restful moon touch you, and you can know that you are loved and held by many hands and hearts here. Sorry. I'd like to start again. May the light of the life-giving sun and the beams of the restful moon touch you, and you can know that you are loved and held by many hands and hearts here and cradled by this magnificent world. And may you find safe passage and belonging as you journey and return again to your spiritual home. Our service has ended. Registration will begin shortly, and once registered folks can leave for a short break and return to their screens for our meeting start time, which I think will be announced shortly. And please, go in peace.